Rob Stone, 2 damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
Yo YouTube, what's up? It's the one and only King Diddy, and we're back at it again with a new reaction video. And today I'm reacting to the one and only Rudy Mancuso. Now it has been a long time since this kid uploaded, but like it's been years. He made a video called Domino's. I don't know if it's like if he's promoting something for Domino's Pizza or something. Probably might not. I don't know. Let's get to it. Let's react.
This is Robert.
By the way, I'm aiming to get 10 likes on this video, so spamming that like button, subscribing.
He's an interesting yet strange young man. We watch as he sits alone, contemplating to himself.
I'm not worried about that.
He's obviously troubled by something, yet I'm unsure if we'll ever find out what that is. But what are we really seeing here? He has an interesting haircut, sure. Wears a golden watch that doesn't tick, poser. And he wears old black boots with way too many cracks in them. For work, he plays piano by day. For fun, he drinks with his buddies at night. And sometimes to take things up a notch, he'll go on a date once a week. Or twice.
Girls, where you getting the
3 times.
Yeah, see.
One day, Robert was walking out of the local grocery store, which he tended to do every so often. A man's gotta eat. Only on this particular day, something stopped him in his tracks. It was an envelope of cash.
Yeah, that's mad weird, bro. Jeez.
Unsure of how to react, Robert looked around for a moment, then
I'll be
back.
doing the same thing too.
It was a fresh stack of bills and had a red stain on it. Now I'd love to tell you that Robert left the cash where it was, or even turned it into the police, but he didn't. He simply dropped his groceries, picked up the envelope.
Savage, bro. Yeah, this nigga's a savage.
In fact, he was so
I don't know. I would have not
infatuated
done
with his
that because
discovery
it had
that
no
he left his
stain in it
groceries
and everything.
behind.
Probably somebody got shot.
Unfortunately,
Like I was hoping that I didn't pick it up, then I got shot. That's why I wouldn't pick it up myself.
for him were stolen soon after. He didn't feel good about what he'd just done, but he didn't feel bad about it either. To Robert, fate had specifically placed the money there for a reason, and it was better off his than anyone else's.
There's always
So he
a story behind everything.
continued his day. He went to work, looking over both of his shoulders as he did so. Then he went out, unapologetically spending his new cash on expensive bottles, expensive treatment, and expensive friends. He cheers everyone around him, taking one shot, then another shot, then another shot after that. Finally, he checked his phone and received an enticing invitation from a lady friend. He pounded one more shot.
This nigga high, bro. This nigga high. I'll be high too.
He drank more than he had in quite some time, and stupidly, Robert proceeded to get into his car. He looked for the right key, fumbled a bit, then he got in. He figured he could manage a quick drive. I mean, come on, he was Robert. This was his lucky day.
Bro, that's how you know you fucked up. Don't ever drink and drive at the same time. I know I'm not 18 yet. I can't drive. Actually, I could drive. I'm 16. What am I talking about? I could, but bro, drinking and driving is a bad thing.
Robert became easily distracted, ended up losing complete control of the vehicle, and our boy Robert hit
you
someone.
could lose your life and you could
Let's
kill
talk
someone
about
else
Haley.
too. So that's fucked up.
She's young, peculiar, wears dark clothing and spends her time in obscure parts of town, like the subway, for instance. She's unpredictable and definitely lives by her own rules. She wears low-key punk rock boots, has straight dark hair,
She worried on what the fuck are those shoes?
and always wears long coats. I mean always. But most interestingly, she has eyes that sometimes change color.
Yeah, tell me that shit ain't lit. That's lit right there, bro. It's lit.
And although she has a kind face and a unique style, don't be fooled. Haley claims to suffer from kleptomania. For those who don't know, kleptomania is an impulse control disorder that results in an irresistible urge to steal.
I know you can't tell me that, bro. That gotta be fake. I don't believe in that.
And that's exactly what Haley does.
So someone have a disorder of stealing. Okay, she's a fucking
Haley doesn't have many
shoplifter.
friends.
I'll see.
Nor does she really want any. At least that's what she tells herself. One day, Haley managed to steal a watch, a hairbrush, earrings, and a strawberry smoothie.
This lady don't
Soon
feel
after, as she sipped on her stolen smoothie, Haley was feeling good about her successful robberies. It was just another regular day. That is, until she noticed something very odd.
Nigga, I'm out of here. On my own now. You making eye contact with me too, bro? Just get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm gonna act like I ain't see shit. Bro's gonna walk away.
It was a man running with a bag
Just
of fresh
dash out at
cash,
that
and
door
no
right
one
there.
was chasing him.
I don't have
The
time for that.
thievery
Just
had
dash right
company
at that
after
door.
all. impulsively. She called the police. That's right.
A thief, being a snitch. Never heard of that before.
A girl who had just broken various laws herself just called the cops on
Saying the
this
same
man.
thing. It's kind of messed up.
Was she a
At the
changed
same
person?
time, he is robbing a fucking
Or was she
bank,
just
though.
protecting herself? Well, a few moments later, she came across 2 bags of groceries sitting on the ground. As it turns out,
that was
Haley
her. I
hadn't
ain't even
changed
peep
at
that.
all.
I didn't even peep that, bro. Look at that lady looking at her. Like, what are you doing, lady?
She completed her day by texting a fellow who she knew would respond
Wait.
right away.
Was Rudy that fellow that she's about to text, bro? I think it might be.
2 words were capable of captivating the young man's attention completely. Come over.
Bro,
That was
if I
her
ever
message.
get that text message
This
from
is
her,
it.
I'll be high, bro.
This is her life.
Like,
Let's move on to Anthony.
any one of y'all little brothers would be
Anthony
high
is a
too,
criminal.
so-
Being a criminal is what he knows, it's what he thinks about, and it's what he does.
Be honest, don't this nigga look like a school shooter? You don't even look tough or something.
Anytime he's tried to live life according
look
to
like a
good
school
morals,
shooter.
he's failed miserably. To Anthony, there's only one thing you can do when something is wrong, and that's to do something that's even more wrong.
What? You still?
Anthony would spend many of his nights finding ways to defy the law.
I low-key have the feeling, I have that feeling that he might be the one who rubbed that bank.
Although, he was never very lucky. He would get caught almost as
How you a
often
rob? How you a thief, but you always get caught?
as he would commit crimes, and this time, it cost him a year in prison. After the long 12 months, he was finally released and returned home to his wife. Although he was glad to be back in his element, the world that he knew had changed a bit. Particularly his wife had changed, but he chose to ignore it. One day, as he was preparing himself a slice of pizza, Anthony noticed something peeking out from under the microwave.
That's sad.
It was a letter.
At least I heard.
He opened it only to find overdue balances. His wife, who he loved, was in debt. He didn't want to commit another crime, but he needed to get his wife out of the hole. So Anthony did what Anthony
You see, what did I
knows
tell
how
you
to
guys,
do
huh?
best.
I was right about that.
He robbed a
Jeez.
bank.
Holy shit. This is like a what if type of story, bro. What if that happened type of shit.
All seemed to be going well until suddenly an officer stopped him in his tracks,
God damn,
causing
bro.
a
That
stack
he
of
really
cash
had
to
to
drop
use
on the
the
ground.
stick like that. That's what I'm
And that
wondering.
was it
He
for
actually had to
Anthony.
pull out the stick and use it like that. That just
What about
messed
Brenda?
up to me.
This young woman thrives on her independence, yet she has sad eyes, an addictive personality, and feels trapped in a world that only she understands. She serves coffee by day, works as a hostess by night, and spends the rest of her day watching time go by as she waits for her husband to be released from prison.
Come on, bro. She live
Eventually,
in the city.
Brenda did find herself a
I
distraction.
live in the
It
suburbs.
was
though. I
online
live in New
gambling.
York.
She
I
quickly
live in
became
New York.
obsessed. One day, as she was washing a few dishes, Brenda received the call that her husband was coming home. Initially, Brenda was
Hair look
thrilled
like
to
a
see her
fucking
husband
mess, bro.
again.
Look at this shit.
Thrilled.
Sheesh.
And eventually, however, she grew uneasy. Things were different. A few days later, a large bill came in the mail.
Shit,
And as
bro,
to be
that's
expected,
tough.
Brenda's gambling addiction has quickly eaten into her
She had a
savings
gambling
and
addiction.
finally
I mean,
happened.
addiction. Bro, I can't speak
Brenda
for
was
shit.
in
God
debt.
damn it, bro.
She decided to hide the letter so her husband wouldn't see. Brenda then grabbed her coat, her keys, and left. She walked around the city streets all day with no motive or destination. Things were supposed to be perfect again, but instead she was in debt.
Bro, that's sad, bro. She got a
She
sad
didn't
life.
know
I
what
feel
she was
sad for
going to
her.
do.
Plus she live in the
Lost it.
city too. I'm not lying. Living in New York City is expensive as hell, bro.
In her thoughts, Brenda got into her car that night, and before she could even buckle up, Brenda got hit.
Wait,
So,
was Rudy the driver, bro? Rudy was the driver. What the fuck? Yeah, this is kind of complicated, but it's good at the same time. Depressed and good at the same time. I fuck with it.
what does all this mean?
And
Let's
what the
recap.
fuck does it mean?
Had Brenda not been addicted to gambling, she wouldn't have been in debt. Had she not been in debt,
True.
Anthony wouldn't have been motivated to rob a bank. Had Anthony not robbed a bank, Haley wouldn't have called the police. Had Haley not called the police, Anthony wouldn't have dropped the cash. Had Anthony not dropped the cash, Robert never would have found it. Had Robert never found it, he would have never had a reason to celebrate and get drunk. Had he never driven drunk, the accident would have never happened. I think what I'm trying to say is we are all inevitably connected in some way. Every single
that we are all connected, and I don't know the other word you said, connected in some way. I can't pronounce that word. But F it.
one of us, all over the world. What one person does affects another.
That's a fact.
Like dominoes.
Yo, now I know why this shit's named Domino's. At first, I thought Rudy was like doing it. I don't know. Like he was sponsoring Domino's Pizza. I don't know why that's the first thing that popped up in my mind, but now I get the gist of it.
This falls, and the other
It makes
falls.
sense now. I'm not gonna lie.
And this keeps going, and
That's the
going,
fact. He's not lying about that.
until we've all fallen.
You see, I told you that. Alright, guys, this is it. Watch my other videos, subscribe, like, and that's it. And see y'all niggas next time, and I'm out.
What the fuck is up, you buttercup?